most athletes in most sporting events were using them for enhancement of it, and it was encouraged to use them. Uh, Football, all of them, baseball, of course, you know all the stories. We weren't the only
Yeah.
ones, but we was kind of used as a catalyst, I guess, to bring that stuff under control in the sports world. Uh, I
Mm.
mean, all of us, but all of us didn't do that. Take the steroids. There are other ways of building your muscles. It took longer. It took a lot of work, etc., to do it. You'd have to be in the gym twice a day as opposed to one, and you have to, take other things, vitamins, nutrition. Nutrition was a big thing, and you have to study it. But again, the ones that will one day uh, completely transformed, within a couple, a year or so, you could tell that who was doing it, who was, but there's a side effects to that, the irritability, the blow-ups, you're not in your, and I've seen that too. Guys that were so nice when they came in, get on, did that shit, and then they mean, nasty, just fly off the handle and stuff like that. I don't know. And you knew right away to stay away from them. But it was a trying time in that, as I say, being put in the spotlight for the use when everybody else was using them as well. In other sports, and
Mm.
uh, Vince would go, Vince would go crazy and give everybody tests and stuff like that, and a lot of guys got suspended, and a lot of guys never stopped. They would keep getting suspended, and that's why. But there were so many of them that anybody could take, and that was another thing about in that time. There were 100 guys waiting to take your place. If you weren't doing your job and you weren't there every night, and you could miss one night, and they'd say, they'd replace you with somebody else, and you'd be a jobber again. That's how vicious it was. So,
Mm.
you can only do that and test positive so many times, and then you're fired. So, what was the
Yeah.
sense? Yeah, I mean, really, I mean, sure, you look great and all that stuff, but if you're going to be suspended eventually, what sense does it
Yeah, there was a lot of pressure, I think, and a lot of jealousy, I think, from outside the wrestling world, particularly in America, in the 80s and 90s. If you think back to the highlighting of the steroids, as you say, they were in other sports as well, and then you look at what happened with David Schultz and the journalist as well. Trying to do this
make? Yes,
undercover wrestling isn't real kind of stuff. You know.
yes. Well, they don't see. People didn't understand. You could years ago, and I only know this because I've talked to people like Lou Albano and those guys, Arno Skolins, way back in the '50s when it first started. I mean, you got to give these guys credit. But when you went to Madison Square Garden and two guys were in the ring, and one guy would grab a headlock on the other guy for an hour, 45 minutes, and just sit there holding the headlock, or another hold or something like that. So someone came up with the idea to enhance it by uh, letting the headlock go. You put the headlock on me, and it developed back in the time. Uh, and the jealousy was that we were making millions of dollars, and some
Yeah.
of them in the other sporting. A lot of people came from other sports to get into that business. They were football players that tried to get in. There were bodybuilders that wanted to be part of it. There were baseball players that wanted to be part, and they couldn't cut it. They wouldn't make it. So yeah, there was a lot of. But if you ran into them, everybody was friends. We were all friends.